And watch this thing fall.
And I cannot.
Yeah, well, it must be recording now. If you can't see me, it is.
Yep.
How are we looking there? Do I have the headroom and everything?
I still cannot see you.
Okay. I'm sorry we have to go through this. There. That should help you.
Yep, it does.
You can't, but when it records...
You can't see me.
Well, when it records, I can see both of us. Huh. Even if I can't see you or you can't see me, it records seeing.
Yeah.
It's stupid. All right. Denver Broncos Mile High View. Obviously no commercials. Well, I say that, and it turned out that I found a commercial. I don't get a red cent from it. On a video with just me as a talking head. Hey, you got a potty mouth. I'm like, yeah, well, we're accurate. That's really what counts. And I just want to say too, we are not a plastic orange, Bronco channel. We're the real deal. And man, if you want, again, you love your sunshine, your rainbows, your lollipops, this just isn't a channel for you. But if you want accurate information, this is definitely the channel you want to go to. So, the choice is up to you. And we're going to talk about scouting because you've been doing some scouting. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the lowly Denver Broncos. And I think that the Broncos definitely have a good coach. But I think what the question is, the front office that made probably this is the 10,000-pound elephant that nobody wants to talk about, made the 8 years of bad decisions. And now ultimately probably the worst decision in sports history, not just NFL. Russell Wilson. And I just want to say this. If it was all the coach, Nathaniel Hackett, let me just ask you this question. Why did Brett Rippon do well? If it was all just the coach, when Brett Rippon went in for Russell Wilson, he was scary. It was scary because he was head and shoulders, glaringly better than Russell Wilson, and that was while Hackett was still there. So how could it all be the coach when a guy like Brett Rippon all of a sudden upgrades your quarterback position? So I would like some explanation.
Well, when it comes to Brett Rippon, he is well, we said it throughout the season when he was playing, those few games he was playing, we said that he's a better processor of the field than Russell Wilson is. He can throw in the middle of the field. Russell Wilson cannot do that.
How is Sean Payton how is he gonna deal with that?
Well, I mean, did you see what he did with Drew Brees?
But
Drew Brees was a microcosm of what Sean Payton wanted in his quarterback.
But Russell Wilson is in no way in any capacity.
Yeah, no, he's not even in the same stratosphere as a guy like Drew Brees. And that is going to be glaringly obvious throughout the season. And I just want to say this to people that are watching certain Bronco platforms. I really want you guys to be careful on what type of information and who you're believing, because those people that proclaim they're, the best Broncos platform out there or whatever, or whoever they are, they're always wrong. For 8 years, they've been wrong. But this channel,
yes, every single time they've been wrong.
You guys might want to. I understand the truth is boring. I get it. The truth is boring.
Well, it's not boring. It's they just don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they just don't want to hear it. It's all these clickbait. Let's just call it a spade of spades. It's a clickbait world now. It's just lies and it's clickbait, and a lot of people find that more interesting than yours truly, who actually provide scouting, provide you reasonable explanations on what, for example, the Brett Rippon Russell Wilson argument, how Brett Rippon he fit the system better than Russell Wilson did. He fit what Nathaniel Hackett wanted in his quarterback. And I remember specifically when Nathaniel Hackett was asked this question before they brought in Russell Wilson, is this team a quarterback away? And he paused, just like Sean Payton paused, just like Vance Joseph paused, just like Vic Fangio paused. We're not a quarterback away, ladies and gentlemen. We're not. And
well, Scott,
this is the worst trade. The Russell Wilson trade is going to go down as the worst trade in sports history. This is a terrible trade. The Seahawks are just laughing at us.
Yeah,
the whole time.
they're managed correctly. Seahawks are managed correctly at the front office. But go ahead.
Nope, you're absolutely right. They're doing it right. They're doing it right. They got 2 tackles who I wanted last year, but we can't get those tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been reading a lot of articles and comments lately about and I'm a scout. I love scouting. That's what I do for a living. And coach and scouting. You can't just grab offensive linemen in free agency and plugging it in. You have to have a system in place. You have to get players that fit that system. I'm getting really sick and tired of reading people that don't know anything about football. They just watch it. You have to understand something. You can't go out and get a guy like, let's just say,
Garrett Bowles.
Garrett Bowles. I'm going to bring up a better example. You can't go out and get a guy like Andre Dillard. If you're going to run the Sean Payton offense, Andre Dillard does not fit that offense.
Well, does Garrett Bowles fit that system?
No, he doesn't, because he is an agile left tackle. He's a West Coast zone run scheme. But let's just pause there. What are we going to run? I don't know, because I've seen this going on for 8 years where we throw spaghetti at the wall on offense and defenses too.
Well,
that it sticks.
Well, the offensive line coach they have suggests that what they should run, if the front office can get their head out of their fanny, okay, and I think Bowles is somebody they should try to get rid of, just for the simple fact he doesn't fit that system. He is injured and probably is not going to be 100%, even if he plays until the next year, because I saw the injury. It was pretty severe. I know it's going to take a while to rehab that.
And let's just elevate on that point with Garrett Bowles. We had a guy like Mike Munchak who ran a specific scheme, and Lloyd Cushenberry made no sense. Graham Glasgow made no sense. Juwan James made absolutely no sense. Those 3 guys, now you're expecting Zach Strief to have. Come on, dude. It goes beyond the offensive line coach.
Yes, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this is the mismanagement at the front office that's still intact. It hasn't gone anywhere. Like I said, they don't want to talk about the 10,000 pound, these other platforms. They're ready to move on from Russell Wilson. Am I not reading the tea leaves correctly? And then this is the part that really gets me.
Who predicted that?
Oh, well, it's just like moving off from Locke, right? It's just like moving off from Locke. They don't want to admit this is, again, they get everything from the same front office that's been screwing up. They get their talking points. What is not mentioned, or it's downplayed, is how this deal absolutely is going to affect this team moving forward. They now have a free agency window. Who knows how long they can keep whoever they sign. But they don't want to address the 10,000 elephant in the room. A, that the same front office is there, and B, that the effect that this, even if they get rid of no matter what they do, there's nothing in the contract that says if we get rid of you, we're clear and free at all. Am I right about that, or am I missing something here?
So much dead cap moving forward for years to come that you guys don't think. This is why when I listen to people, I actually listen to people that were in the game of football. I don't listen to people that weren't in the game of football. Okay, that's how I operate. I listen to former GMs, former coaches that were in the NFL. These people think that cutting Russell Wilson after 1 year is going to just miraculously change the fortunes of the Denver Broncos. It's not, because all that dead cap is going to carry over for years to come. Just like with Juwan James, just like with Shelby Harris, guys like that you got rid of, and they had all this dead cap carrying over for the next 2 to 3 years, and that affected it.
Well, that's nothing compared to what we're at, right?
Well, exactly. And then you were talking about how we have this little window to build in free agency. I don't want to build through free agency. I want to build through the draft. I want to draft and develop. You have teams like the Lions. You have teams like the Chiefs. You have teams like the Eagles that are drafting and develop, and then they supplement with good signings through free agency that fit their system, that they can add block upon block of the house. A lot of people think that you can just I always go back to this, is I just don't think that when you listen to people, you have to be careful who you listen to, because there's people out there, especially in Bronco platforms, that don't know what they're talking about.
Well, they get scripts. I know they get scripts.
It's not. Yeah. It's
I call it front office speak. They speak front office.
Front office speak. It's fan channels, all the above. They don't know what they're talking about. But when it comes to football, the teams that do it right get players that fit their system. Okay. You can't go out and rebuild the offensive line with a West Coast guard there, a power gap guard there, a agile center there, an agile tackle, and a power gap tackle. You have to get offensive linemen that all have the same technique work, and that have all the same skill set in the same realm. That's why I'm into guys that we'll talk about it later. There are players in this draft that I hope the Denver Broncos take, but their track record for 8 years hasn't given me the confidence and shown me that they're willing to take these type of players.
I got a Nick Burrito for you. Here you go.
Oh, yeah, look how that pick turned out. And I go back last year, and all these Bronco people are giving it A+ moves, and even the national.
Of course they do.
It's just, I told you Nick Burrito wasn't going to be able to fit the 3-4 scheme, and I was proven right again on that. Just like Baron Browning, he didn't do anything as an outside linebacker except for play here every 2 to 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It just, the Denver Broncos are in a flux right now from the management, and we were talking about this too, where you have management still during the John Elway era. And I believe the John Elway era is still going on, because
his name's still listed. His name's still listed there. Even though it's at the bottom in fine print, it's still there.
Yeah. So again, it just, you can
all his hires are still at the top.
You can be in secrecy all you want, Dove Valley, but at the end of the day, me and this man and the Bubble Man are gonna know that what type of system you're gonna run and who's running the show, because the track record has shown it for 8 years. So
yeah,
again,
I want to go ahead. I want to talk about Sean Payton. I believe you. I want to talk about Sean Payton, and I want to talk about the front office.
Okay.
I do believe that Sean Payton is the best coach without the titles that the Broncos had since Wade Phillips. Okay. And then the best head coach going back to Shanahan. I do.
I disagree.
Well, here's the thing. What I have to see in this Sean Payton experiment is, how did Loomis and how did Ireland affect the Sean Payton era? Because just like Wade Phillips, just like Mike Shanahan, they had proper ownership at the top.
Good point.
They had proper GM at the top that worked with those coaches to give them the players that fit the system hand in glove. Okay? Yeah, 3 of them all fitting, working together. So my question is this: what influence did Loomis and Ireland have with and working with Sean Payton? Number one. Second, will Sean Payton just take the money? I got paid. Tell me what you want me to do, front office. That's then this whole, if that happens, the whole Sean Payton coach is meaningless. But if he has some kind of a clue and is trying to replicate Loomis, Ireland, knowing that side of it, and then there's a confrontation, and slowly starts weeding out that Elway pick front office. If that happens, I have to. Again, I know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. Then we will see whether or not Sean Payton amounts to a hill of beans at the end of it all. But it's going to be again a wait and see process. I am very happy. I don't know if it's because they just can't do it, but I'm very happy. At least one little signal is that they're not drinking the Draymond Jones Kool-Aid. The Denver Broncos are, and I'm wondering if that's Sean Payton talking somebody some sense into somebody.
So I'm going to go off of your point where the best coach since Wade Phillips and Mike Shanahan. I disagree because I'm going to go back to his time with the Saints. Okay. He didn't really take off until he got the player personnel that fit his system. So he's coming into a situation in Denver where you have a bunch of players.
Oh yeah, it's a mountain like this, almost vertical.
Yeah,
that he has to climb.
For him to climb, I thought the best coaching staff they've had in the past decade is the Vic Fangio, Rich Scangarello, Mike Munchak, Ed Donatel coaching staff, and there is a reason for that. Because after 2015, I'm going to go after the 2015 season. Let's go the past 8 years. In my personal opinion, the best overall coaching staff they've had was that Vic Fangio, Rick Scangarello, Mike Munchak, Ed Donatel, Brandon all the above there. They had
the problem was, tell them what the problem was.
As a management, because they wouldn't let them get the players that fit what they wanted to do offensively and defensively. So now let's forward to Sean Payton. I think a lot of it had to do with Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland, because when did he take off? Till he got the offensive line fixed, and there have been plenty of former coaches, former GMs, former executives that have basically screamed what we've screamed, have basically said what we've said, that Sean Payton is a great X's and O's coach, but with the right players that fit his system. So,
correct.
So you can't just be like, he's going to come in and
correct. He could end up in a situation, Scangarello, Fangio, Mike Munchak. He could end up in that same conundrum.
Yes,
but I will say this: he will have more. He's supposed to, and I believe he probably does, whether or not he's willing to do it. Has more say than those three people have.
Okay. Let's go to our Saint source, because we talked to our Saint source. This is a good discussion we're having. I like it. What did our Saint source say? Until, again, he can have all the say he wants. He had all the say.
Or said, he said that Sean Payton was getting toys, offensive toys, mainly tight ends, and the defense just went down the tubes, which I believe the defense is going to go down the tubes this season, because I think that other teams are going to be afraid that the Broncos can score a little bit more this year than they did last year. But anyway, with that off to the side, once Loomis started getting the defense addressed and the player personnel up front, like the lines addressed, that's when everything started to take off.
Exactly. That's where I was going at.
Building from inside out. They started to build inside out.
Yes, that's exactly where I was going to go with this whole thing. Is we had Sean Payton going to get his little toys, and that didn't amount to anything. 7-9. It wasn't even where it was just mediocre at best. And then Jeff Ireland and Mickey Loomis said, "Okay, Sean Payton, we're going to work as a tandem." And again, Sean Payton. You think Sean Payton, George Payton, and Greg Penner are all working like this? No.
Like I was saying, I said George Payton is a ghost.
Yeah, no one knows
the valley.
Exactly. Yeah, that you need to have structure inside of the organization. And see, the people that these people listen to don't bring that up. They say, we know that we know.
Well, they can't bring it up because they get their talking points from the very people who should be shown the door.
Exactly. And again, this is the type of situation where with Sean Payton, you think that they might score a little bit more, not with this player personnel they have on offense. I don't believe that, because the player personnel on offense has been dreadful. You have Cortland Sutton, who's on the trade block. Let's bring him up for a minute. Nobody wants him.
Yeah, no.
With his
Nobody wants that contract because
with
management stupidity.
Yeah. We had a conversation with a commenter a year ago, Wanu, who, tried to, debunk what we were saying. And look, you're wrong, obviously, because he has a $14 million salary. The guaranteed money on his contract is absolutely absurd. Who would want to take on a guy who hasn't done anything in 2 years? He's regressed back to the player when him and Emmanuel Sanders got in fight in practice over route running and effort. That's why they got in a fight. That's why I miss Emmanuel Sanders. Number 3, you have the offensive line in flux. Okay, you have, again, what are you going to run? I still don't know what you're going to run. Joe Lombardi is your best bet, and you couldn't get anybody to come here, and I understand that. I get that. Nobody wants to come here, but again, it just is.
Okay, let's address what you just said. What are they going to run offensively? If they don't get new offensive linemen, I don't know what they're going to do, because offensively they're supposed to run the power gap. Well, wait a minute. They don't have a quarterback like all the quarterbacks that Sean Payton has had under his tenure. No, Russell Wilson is that's why the front office. I mean, there must be talks going on with Sean Payton about Russell Wilson. Like, look, because he knows he's never had a guy like this to have to deal with.
And it would not surprise me one bit if that's why that article came out, if they cut him next year. It would not surprise me if Sean Payton is the leading force behind that whole entire thing, because I think he sees what we see on film. He's not a Sean. I'm getting sick and tired of the excuse making for this guy when he is not a Sean Payton quarterback. How many times we've done film on it? I've done film. It got 3K views. You did film on yours. It's exploding. We did film, and you clearly see what Sean Payton wants to run offensively, not what the other platforms are trying to say that he was going to run. And yet I was proven right on that again. But again, what did we see on that film review? A great offensive line. A great offensive line. When you have a great offensive line, just look at the Super Bowl, for example. You have Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes sitting back there looking at their watch. Oh, okay, reading War and Peace, just tossing and lobbing throws to receivers that were open.
Yeah.
And you also have to get receivers that can get open too. I'm not discounting the receivers. You have to get receivers that can get to the second level, that can get open on a consistent basis.
Oh, I just want to mention one thing. Kansas City wants to upgrade their defensive line from that Super Bowl, like they did with with their offensive line with Tampa Bay. And we can't get that mentality here. That's why they can't compete with the Chiefs. It goes beyond Mahomes.
Yeah, and again, this is why I always bring up what you have to get players that. Again, you can't shoehorn a certain player and expect him to do great in the system that you can't do that as a coach. You can't do that as an organization. You can that will hamper that player's development. You can go get who I believe is the best tackle in this draft, Peter Skoronski out of Northwestern. You can go get him all you want. But to me, he doesn't fit the power run system. He's in West Coast zone run system type of tackle. He's the Rashawn Slater of this year's draft, basically. I would love to have him, but he's going to be picked in the first round. There's no way he's going to get out of the first round. But a guy like that is an example of you can't shoehorn him into a power run scheme and expect him to elevate and grow as a player. Where is the player development happening on this team? Where's the player development? You say the free agency window. You always
because I'm saying that because that's what they want to do.
Okay, well they can do that all they want, but they have to get the right free. Why do you want to build through free agency? That's the polar opposite of what a good organization does.
Yeah, I know, because these people have never been sitting. They don't listen to platforms that talk about the proper way to do things. It's splash moves.
Because it's boring. They want to do that because it's boring.
Yeah, it's spaghetti against the wall here, spaghetti against the wall here. Oh, a name. We got a name. It's forget if that name even fits the system. We got a name, So, I mean, I'm just saying, Sean Payton is up against that.
Well, I think the perfect analogy that you were bringing up for time and time again is the sandbox effect. I think that he's going to be in a sandbox and he's going to have to work with shit player personnel. The player personnel in the Denver Broncos, the PFF and these platforms that say, "Oh man, this is not a top 10 roster." I don't care what you say. There's a reason why they.
I don't know how anybody in their right. It's like if you tell somebody over and over and over again that tiny little flea is an elephant. It's an elephant. It's an elephant. They just start believing that little flea is an elephant. But you're like, no, it is a flea. I think by now everybody should understand. I mean, nobody even wants Cortland Sutton, for God's sakes.
I don't even want Draymond Jones. Now, do I trust the Denver Broncos to let him go? Well, he's going to be a free agent, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I still
I think he's got a better shot at like going to a 4-3 system. And nobody's going to pay him. Nobody's going to pay him big bucks.
I'm going to be very.
Nobody's going to give him the Elway money. The money Elway would give him if Elway was just to keep doing the same crap, paying players he never has any business playing for. He is not going to see that at least with an organization that has its shit together.
Now, here's something else. Now, I don't know. The whole reason Vance Joseph was hired because he's Elway's boy. We all know that.
Well,
again,
one.
My problem
get anybody else to come here.
Well,
number 5 defense, right? Number 5.
Yeah. My problem is again, I looked at the coaching staff for that defense, that Michael Wilhoit linebackers coach we got from the Chargers, who's a up and coming. He's a 4-3 linebackers coach.
Yeah.
So now from what we've been told, you're doing it what you've done for the past 8 years. I think the defense is going to regress mightily. I think you're absolutely
I do too. Do you think Vance Joseph could run a 4-3 defense?
No.
Yeah, I just, and it's not his fault. Let's say this. Nobody would come here. Nobody would come here. Period. End of discussion. Nobody would come here. So Elway gets on the phone. He's on the staff. Hey, don't let bygones be bygones. I'll use my influence. I'll clear the path. You can get in here. And it's not Vance Joseph's fault that he's a 3-4 guy, but you're right. They're already mixing the coaching staff up like they do players. A mismatch here and there. So now the question is, can the 4-3 linebackers coach adapt? Well, what is he going to do when he finds out Baron Browning is not an edge rusher? What is he going to do?
He's going to have
off ball. He's more of an off ball guy.
He is going to have no say, just like He's going to have no say, dude. He's going to have no say. That's like you and me trying to be a coach on the Denver Broncos, and we're like, that's like me.
That's what Nathaniel Hackett was talking about.
Hypothetically speaking, let's just say I'm the O-line coach, you're the assistant. We're scouting offensive linemen that fit a specific scheme. And me and you are pounding for Rashawn Slater. We love Rashawn Slater. He'd be a great addition. Let's get rid of Bowles. Let's not pay him that contract. Let's let him go. Let's go get Rashawn Slater. And that's like Elway just laughing at us and all these other Bronco platforms laughing at us saying, we got to get rid of them because they don't know what they're talking about. And eventually Rashawn Slater proves us right and Elway and those people wrong. That's
every single time. Yeah.
Yes. Just hypothetically speaking here, that's like us wanting to get Rashawn Slater, who I wanted, and everybody laughed at my face, and now he's an all-pro left tackle. He is a top 10 left tackle in this league, maybe a top 5 if healthy. He is a top 5 caliber left tackle, and we passed up on him to get a corner. A receiver. Was it a receiver? It was a corner. It was Patrick Surtain. And Patrick Surtain, granted, he is a good player, but he's not a great player in my personal opinion. He has flaws in his game that are shown so much on film.
Rashawn Slater is a great player. Period. End of story. End of discussion.
End of discussion. There are players in this draft. You could, if you did this right and didn't trade for Russell Wilson, you could probably get one of those offensive linemen. You can go get a
Okay, that's what I wanted to discuss is, it's just like this Sean Payton hire should have happened when Bridgewater was here. That's when this trade, because Sean Payton because we were talking, he's probably leading the charge to flush Wilson out down. He would have been the voice of sanity when we were saying, what were you thinking? Even this is before the contract. What were you even thinking bringing this guy in? Oh, you guys, all the experts. Oh, yeah. When experts want to say something, don't drink the water. That's that's what I know. Don't drink the water. When the experts tell you, oh, yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, right.
Well, the expert in his mother's basement, every player I've scouted, Rashawn Slater, Charles Cross, Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons. I mean, those are just examples. Okay, I'm not right on every. I'm wrong a lot of the time.
Where you're right is your diamonds in the rough, who all came out and had these great.
Travis Jones.
Yeah.
Travis Jones.
Yeah, no, you can't have a Travis Jones because you have a dysfunctional management front office up there that will try to get a running back because they already gave up on Williams. Maybe they know more than we do. But they'll tell you Garrett Bowles is just fine. How so? How
is he fine?
Exactly.
Just provide me those people that say that they're the experts. Provide me film, play by play, technique by technique, footwork, skill sets. Provide me film on what you see that I don't see from Garrett Bowles. Provide it to me. Prove me wrong.
Right off the bat, Garrett Bowles, I'm sure that injury, I will be very surprised if that thing's 100% come week one. And I guarantee you the fools will put him in there. And it's what kind of pressure gets on a O lineman's ankles. The kind of the beating those ankles take, yeah.
You can, I'm going to talk. Okay. Now we're getting into my realm. Sorry, I had to get this fixed. Okay. So a great offensive lineman has to have great lower body ability. That's just the end of story. You have to have great footwork, hip-to-hip fluidity, great base. You have to have a great base. If you don't have a great base and great footwork and as an offensive lineman, you can have all the upper body strength, all the upper body technique work, all you want, but your lower body is basically stabilizing you so you can go against speed rushers, power rushers, 3-tech, 3-4 defensive linemen, 5-tech, a wide 5-tech, 4-3 defensive end. It can be whatever you want to say it is, as it is. But if you do not have great technique work as an offensive lineman, you can have the best skill set in the world, a la Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles has an elite athleticism. Elite. I will give him that. But his technique work is is really, really suspect. It's bad.
I'm going to say this because a lot of his power is upper power. I would not be surprised if he re-injures that. I wouldn't be surprised if he re-injures that ankle during the season and he becomes basically Jawan James all over again.
It would not surprise me at all. And again, that's why it worries me, man. It really worries me to see where this organization's going. I think you're absolutely right. Payton should have been the head coach when Bridgewater was here. Bridgewater was a Sean Payton quarterback. He played for Sean Payton in New Orleans. They were very good when Breeze was hurt, and he was inserted as the quarterback because of the player personnel, and he fit what Sean Payton wanted to do offensively.
And what would we have done? We would have built from the inside out, especially if that management was gone and we had proper management, like Kansas City right now. We're going to give Chris Jones some help. Awesome player, but he needs a couple of Robins. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I have a perfect guy for them. Gervon Dexter Sr. out of the University of Florida. He would be the perfect 4-3 nose tap. He would be perfect next to Chris Jones. And I have film review on my channel explaining that. I explain it. Gervon Dexter fits a 4-3 system. Okay. He would be great in Philly. He would be great with the Buffalo Bills. He would be great. He would be great next to Ed Oliver. Are you kidding me? Him next to Ed Oliver, that would elevate his game. I would love to see that. But again, these teams, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, they know what they're doing.
They get it. They fucking get it.
And then you have the Denver Broncos. Our first move, one of our first moves. That isn't a big move, but I like the move to some degree. The receiver, Humphrey, out of the University of Texas. I like him. I do. But do I see him getting the opportunity to start? No.
You know what? I actually tweeted him. You know what I said to him? How does it feel being the best receiver of the Broncos? Somebody who can get open.
And I will do film review on him. If you would love for me to do film review, I would.
Please do film review on this.
And can we get off this notion too about the running back position? Because that's all I'm hearing. Let's go get Miles Sanders. Let's go get Montgomery from the Bears. Let's go get all those guys have one thing in common. Injury history. Number 2, Kareem Hunt too. Kareem Hunt. I do not.
That sounds like Elway as usual to me.
Those are 3 names. Those are big names. You can't go out and get a Boston Scott from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's 27 years old. He is a receiving type back.
That's what they need for a Sean Payton system.
Yeah,
they need an actual receiving type back, more so than Williams.
You have to get your Alvin Kamara in this offense. You have to get that. You can't go out and get a Miles Sanders. He's a big name, but
they don't want a Sean Payton system.
Do they not understand Miles? Do they not understand the Eagles are fine letting him go to free agency because they have a Kenneth Gainwell. They have other running backs that can just stop.
Not think that way at all. It's give me the splash, give me the name. Let's not think about this at all. Just spaghetti right up against the wall. And that's the front office. That's how the front office. I'm telling you, Payton is going to have to purge that front office, have that mentality out of there, get this media wiped off so that we do, they're leaking all this stuff out that they want to do. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's horrific out there. And let's just say this, Randy Gregory, I looked at his contract the other day. It's going to be hard for us to move on from him for 2 years, dude. 2 years. All the dead cat money, the guarantee money you're going to have to pay him.
And what system does this guy fit?
What?
What system does Gregory fit? What type of system?
4-3 hand in the dirt.
I know. You just can't. This mismanagement at Dove Valley just knows no depth, man. It just goes on and on and on. And they can't understand why they're floundering. They just
put next to DJ. DJ Jones is another example. I love DJ Jones. I love his game. I was high on the pick when we got him. And I could see that again this year. Will he have one free agency pickup who me and you like, but then he's going to suffer from the players around him because he doesn't have anybody next to them that can help.
How about that wide receiver? He's going to suffer with the people around him.
He's like a Trinity Benson who is going to do all these things. And, preseason, he's going to be able to separate. All the film is going to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we don't want that.
How did stick him on the practice squad?
Yeah. How did Trinity Benson do in Detroit?
Oh, he's actually the 4th receiver. He's the 4th go-to receiver up there.
How's he doing?
He's doing okay. He
does really good when he's put in. He gets separation. He does better than what we got. At what price?
It's sad.
I think Sean Payton could use a guy like Trinity Benson.
I think he got Trinity Benson and Humphrey.
We could have had 2 of them, though. I mean, and got rid of all the baggage that we got.
I mean, who's going to take Cortland Sutton? Who's going to take Garrett Bowles? I mean, who in their right mind is going to take those players? They're not elite players.
Well, Garrett Bowles would be hard to move because of his injury.
True.
So you got a double whammy there. So he's going to be there probably, sitting on the bench with his ankle, keep re-injuring it. I mean, I see that. I mean, you can only shoot it up so much. I don't think that's right for his sake. I mean, but So let's go into scouting.
Okay.
You have scouted players. And can you get into your scouting? Now I'll send links. I'll put links in the description.
So I've done. I have more on my BitChute channel. But
I'll send the links.
I did Jack Campbell, Ventrell Miller, Steve Avila again because I wanted to see him play guard because they moved him to guard this year, and then I did Gervon Dexter. Those are it so far.
Okay, so explain how each one of those could help a team like the Denver Broncos and expand who will probably pick them up and how they.
Well, I think Jack Campbell would be a very good addition for the Denver Broncos. I actually see him. I do not see him. He's a second round pick, my personal.
Okay, what position does he play?
Middle linebacker. He played middle linebacker.
4-3 guy.
No, he's more of a 3-4 guy.
Okay, because you'd mentioned that. Excuse me.
He's more. I would love to see a team that I could see him going to is probably the Tennessee Titans. He fits a Tennessee Titans type player. Outdoor, cold weather, very good in coverage, hard hitting player. Jack Campbell to me is a better version of a Josie Jewell, Slowsy Jewell. He's not Slowsy Jewell.
He can actually cover.
He can cover. He's a very good sideline to sideline linebacker. He reminds me a lot of Chad Muma coming out of Wyoming. Chad Muma had a little bit more agility, but all the other traits relates to a guy like a Logan Wilson and Chad Muma. Now, granted, Logan Wilson plays off-ball 4-3 coverage linebacker with the Bengals, but Jack Campbell to me is strictly a 3-4 inside linebacker.
Right.
Now, Ventrell Miller he'll be there in the third round, but to me,
position.
Middle linebacker.
Also middle line.
4-3. He fits a 4-3 attack style defense. He's a 4-3 linebacker. I could see him going to the Eagles. That would be the perfect landing spot because TJ Edwards is going to be a free agent, I believe.
And all strengths and weaknesses are coming from you and not read from a script somewhere else.
No, the reason I read it is because I write notes upon notes.
Well, I just want to clarify for people that think that maybe you're picking it up from somebody else. You are actually the author of those strengths and weaknesses.
Yes, and I bring that up. Gervon Dexter, we talked about him. Steve Avila, I love Steve Avila. I've been high on him for a very long time. Huh?
Position?
Offensive line. He's a center/guard. He's a versatile player. I would put him at center if I was the Denver Broncos. I would love that pick. I think he could fall. I think he's a third round guy. I would love that pick if they picked him in one of their third round picks. That pick would be so. I would love that pick if they got.
You got to go and get a backup quarterback. It's very important you get a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Or a tight end. Get a tight end. You got to go get a tight end. Yeah.
So those are the players I've scouted so far. I'll have more in the coming weeks. But
excellent. Yeah, no, you can't have that. You go. The script was handed out. You go for a running back or a tight end.
God, I could see that.
Make sure the running back is not a. Make sure he's not a receiving back. Whatever you do, make sure he's more like Williams. Yeah, let's just keep this mismanagement rolling right along.
Oh God!
And overhype it. We'll overhype it too.
Yeah, we'll just overhype everything.
Yeah, and then that's going to carry us. That's where we will be 17-0 and win the offseason Super Bowl.
Like I said, I would watch. You could be the most genuine person out there, but you gotta watch. You got to figure out who you want to listen to because there's people out there that just go along with A+ moves, and it's clickbait and lying is prevalent, but the truth.
Well, what I would call it Dove Valley scripting too. Dove Valley scripting.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, here. This is the script. Here's the script. We're gonna move on from Russell Wilson. This is his dress rehearsal. We're gonna move on from him, and everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry about all that dead. Don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even pay attention to it. It doesn't exist. At least that's what the front office would like to think. But I just want to say, if they move on from Russell Wilson after next season, there better be accountability at the front office for that. I would call it Palestine, Ohio explosion, basic equivalent.
Perfect.
That disaster. Somebody should be held accountable at the front office. Mr. Walton, that you inherited, and for some reason can't let him go. Maybe you start thinking about that a little bit. So yeah, it's for Sean Payton. It's a repelling operation to the top of the summit. I mean, wow. It's not just we're just a head coach away. Okay, I will link your latest scouting to the page.
Okay. Sounds.
So this is, I guess, is our Bronco update, off-season update.
Woohoo.
2023. We're just a week away from free agency. Let's go nuts. Let's get people that don't belong in the system, people that we overpay if we can. It's getting harder and harder to overpay people since we've already overpaid so many people that we should have never overpaid.
Gregory.
So, yeah. Mr. 4-3 and a 3-4.
Yeah.
It's never ends. Just the mismanagement just never fucking ends around there.
No.
So I think this free agency will tell you a lot of what you need to know too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see if their offensive, defensive line, probably just offensive, even that. I don't know. And it's going to be interesting. Can they move Cortland Sutton? That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
That's going to be somebody's going to have to really be desperate to pick him up. I mean, really desperate.
I would love to see Draymond Jones go to a 4-3 system, though. I would really.
I wonder if the Saints would be desperate enough to pick up and then kind of trade back something.
No.
I mean, that's a team that desperately wants receivers. I don't think they're not even they're going to take him.
No, I don't see that. They got Derek Carr, and that's the perfect quarterback for what they want to do over there. So I like
what?
I know.
Why did you come here? I know the Saints can't pay you what Walmart can pay you, and that's what worries me. Carr absolutely fits Payton like a hand in glove.
I know.
So that just tells me that, was it just the money?
It was his retirement.
Yeah. Hey, if I can make it work, great. If not, hey,
I can just go back to Fox Sports.
A billionaire. Yeah. Maybe not quite that, but I mean, he's definitely a lotto winner, what you call a Powerball winner, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Our Powerball winning coach. Don't worry about those dogs.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't worry about those dogs.
I got some chemtrails.
Don't call them that. It's geoengineering, you fool.
Oh.
Gotta use the magic words. Right? The magic words. It's too cloudy here to really see it. I'm sure it's going on.
Got some breaks in the clouds. I can see them. So.
Oh yeah, it's just nonstop. Yep. So get ready for a big polar plunge there.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right. I'll see you.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, after free agency, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
It's going to be interesting or not.
Yeah, let's go get Miles Sanders. Let's pay him 5 years, $50 million at the running back.
They would do it, but I don't think they can. I don't think they got the cap space for that anymore.
Oh, they got the Walmart money, right?
Well, you still have to have cap space. Walmart. This isn't Major League Baseball here or the
NBA. Yeah, you can't buy your way to championships. So just let you know that.
No. All right. We'll see you.
All right. See you. Bye.
Bye.